What is up, Lockwood middle schoolers? Welcome to January 2021. Yes, I know for a fact that it's been a couple weeks of January so far, but this is my welcome to January 21 presentation, so don't worry about it. But the cool thing is you made it through 2020. We made it through, guys. We really did. I personally had an amazing experience in 2020. My third baby was born. His name is Gideon Gregory. I love him so much. He's such a great addition to the family, and he sleeps, which is so good because I don't know if you guys know, but sometimes kids don't sleep, and that makes parents crazy. But that was a great part of 2020 for me. I'm sure some of you guys have a lot of good stuff that came out of 2020. But I think a lot of us are just excited to get into the new year and start something new and different than 2020. So if you're with me, that's awesome. I'm excited to get into 2021 as well. Before I start, I got to just start with a good laugh. I feel like some of you have probably experienced this before. Yep, you've been the cat when you jump on that Zoom meeting. And yes, I have been that teacher, or some other teachers have been that teacher, and you're the first two there and you have no idea what to say. And that's the face that you make. In fact, I don't know which one is which, honestly. Oh, man. I thought it was good. Hopefully, I got a few laughs out of you guys with that. Really quick, I wanted to update you guys on how to reach out to me. I'm no longer using that Google form that I had been using for a while. Most people didn't know how to use it. And then when they did use it, it didn't inform me that they filled the form out. And so that was kind of frustrating because I couldn't figure out who was filling out forms and a bunch of mayhem. So if you want to reach me and you can't find me in the hallways, you can email me at carlse@lockwoodschool.org. I am great at responding to emails. Email me whenever you can. This is just another way to reach out if you want to set up a time to talk or maybe change your schedule or just get together to rag on all those Seahawks fans. I don't know. Okay. This is how you do it. Use that email. Second thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was just kind of like the craziness that has happened in this last year. I have one story to share with you, and it kind of involves, so a lot of you have seen this happening for the last year, but it seems like there's two polar opposites as far as like worldviews are concerned. So you can either believe this or you can believe that. You are either this type of person or you are that type of person. And first off, I want to completely dispel that myth. You are your own person. You definitely have beliefs, and some of those beliefs line up with one side or the other. But you do not have to choose which side. You can actually be your own individual person. So I first off just want to really encourage you with that. The second thing is, and I'm not a social media person. I don't want to get rid of social media. I think it's good, but I think social media has really driven some of that craziness. So you get online and you see on social media, there's one side yelling this and there's another side yelling this. And it seems like those two sides will never, ever be able to interact with each other. They will never, ever be able to have a good conversation together. And honestly, social media drives that into our brains. And so when you see that online, and I'm not saying that you guys always do this, but sometimes parents, and honestly, parents like us adults, we're the ones that are driving the crazy train right now. But it kind of kills conversation not only on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, but it's also starting to kill conversations in real life because we just think, this person doesn't believe what I believe, and therefore we can never have this actual conversation together. And so one thing I've been trying to encourage students to do, and encourage myself to do even, and I've done this, is getting rid of social media. And I'm not totally against social media. In fact, I think there's some good to it. But I think the negative is outweighing the positive right now. And so, not only does social media drive like some frustration, not only in me, but in the world, like we've been talking about, but also, it really ends up killing the conversation because you see these two sides fighting against each other and never actually coming together and talking about it. And you kind of almost infer that into real life conversations where you just don't feel like you can have real life conversations with people that you disagree with. So one great example is a friend from college that we've known each other for a long time. We've always been really good friends. And we started to realize that we were a little bit more frustrated with each other than we had probably ever been. And we stopped actually kind of talking to each other about some of the important things because we were worried about what that other person might think in regards to what we thought and the beliefs that we held. And so we ended up reaching out to each other and we had this great conversation. And it was really cool because we started to realize that when we talked, we had a lot more in common than we actually did not have in common. So if this is my box of beliefs and this is his box of beliefs, what we realized was the things that we did not have in common were this tiny little corner. And the things that we did have in common was all of this stuff here. And so obviously you can see from this diagram here that we have way more in common than we don't have in common. And what was happening is we feel like, and we really truly believe that social media was taking this part and making it a lot bigger deal in our lives to where we ended up couldn't have a real conversation together. And so we got together, we hung out, we talked about each other's views on this one subject. We realized we were never going to convince each other the other way, but then we realized we're good friends and there's a lot of stuff obviously that we have in common, and we still want to hang out with each other and have fun conversations and go, do what friends do. And we can still talk about the things we disagree on, but that doesn't have to kill the friendship, and it shouldn't kill the conversation, because the conversation is what leads to the friendship. You will not have everything in common with your best friend. Eventually, even just some good friends, you're eventually going to come to a point where you don't have everything in common. And you guys really, I just encourage you to learn how to have those conversations of when you disagree, that's okay, because you can realize we still have lots in common. And so I just kind of encourage you guys with that, before you come to school and you badmouth the person that has this tiny opposite belief as you, which seems so big because of social media sometimes. Don't do it. Maybe first talk to them and just reach out and listen to what they think. You don't have to immediately speak. Something I've always been told is be slow to speak and slow to speak and quick to listen. That's what it is. Make sure you're listening to the other person and really realize, again, those things that you have that are not in common generally are not the biggest parts of your lives. So with that being said, I know a lot of students also, some of you have no idea what's happening in the world, and some of you see it every single day because you're obsessed with social media, or your parents tell you about it, or you name it. You know what's going on, and it's been really disheartening and frustrating for you. I just want you guys to know, for those of you that are struggling, if this is something that you're struggling with, don't be afraid to reach out. You can reach out to me. I will be an unbiased person. I will listen to what's going on. I won't tell you that you're wrong. I will just listen and we can kind of talk about it. But, you can also talk to teachers that you trust. You can also talk to your parents or your guardians that are in your house. There's lots of people that can help you through the craziness that's going on in the world. So if you're one of those kids that just need something, don't be afraid to reach out. All right. So the last thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about was the new semester. We're going to start a new semester next week on Monday. I'm really excited about that. Some of you are getting a few different classes, and some of you are getting maybe a bunch of schedule changes. But I wanted to just let you guys know a few things about schedule changes before you come and ask me or you email me. So the first thing is this. Many of them are hard to change because of the numbers of kids in that individual class. So if you wanted to switch from one class to from one PE class to another. Sometimes I'm going to say no, and that is because the PE class that you're switching into has more numbers than the PE class that you're switching out of. And numbers, especially during COVID, matter. So I'm not just going to immediately switch you because it's important that we're not filling up too many classes. The second thing is electives always fill the fastest. So some of you might not be able to take the elective that you wanted to, maybe even this entire year, which is a little frustrating. I get it. But trust me, there's always next year here in the middle school, or if you're going to the high school, they have a lot more electives that you will be able to take. So don't worry, you will be able to take the class eventually. Number 3, you cannot switch classes just because your friend is in that class. I say this every year. There's always a few kids that try to swing it by me. I usually figure it out. The problem is if I say yes to one, I'm going to have to say yes to every single one. There are only a few exceptions in this case. So just realize if you're coming to me and you're going to ask because your friend is in the other class, I'm probably going to say no. The last thing is if you want to drop choir or band, you have to have your parents email or call me. The reason being is that parents might want you in that class because it's important to them. And even though you don't want to be in it, like we want to make sure we're respecting your parents. So make sure if those are one of the classes you want to drop, you need to have your parents call or email me. That's all I got for you. Thanks for listening. If you made it through the whole thing, I know I went pretty long, but hopefully, brought some good laughs and maybe even a few things that you can try this week just to be a better human. But if you have anything else that you want to reach out to me about, just please do that via email or find me in the hallways here at school. Love to talk to you guys. Yeah, I'm excited about this new year. I know that we have the vaccine for COVID. That's pretty awesome. I'm excited about that. I'm excited that life, not just yet, but soon we'll be getting back to normal. And we'll hopefully be able to go back to school full time eventually. I don't know when that is, but hopefully soon we'll be able to get back there. So, yeah, let me know if you guys have anything that you wanted to talk about. And I hope you guys have a great day.